There's a great opportunity right there.
Yeah.
One thing, if I may, about...
Yeah, I want to introduce you. So
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Just
Yeah.
to kind of back up a moment. So anyway, Mike and I go back a few years. We've collaborated together before, colleague, friend. Mike's background is television, and he's done just almost everything in media, 25 years, CBS. NBC, I'm sorry, NBC. He's received 2 Peabody Awards. He has been an infomercial guru. He has taken one example, I forget the cleaning product. One guy from failure, like abject failure, spent like a lot of money in a product that was just losing. Mike figured out how to present it, introduce it, different language, different wording, just different presentation, and he became
$200 million.
$200 million sales.
By changing the words to describe the exact same product.
Interesting.
And Mike is, as you can kind of tell, one of the strongest chamber advocates in the valley. So with that, and
Which chamber
Linda,
are you connected to now?
Lafayette. And Hispanic.
Oh, yeah.
and just a good guy,
And I don't
just
mean to
a
be
really
rude
good
to
guy.
gum during this meeting.
all right.
I want to get 86 my gum here. Just
Where was
hold up.
your, here's a garbage can over here.
I
Where
got it.
was your NBC career at?
New York, 30 Rock, and I went from country bumpkin to in Michigan to 30 Rockefeller Plaza as an NBC page, and was groomed and educated up through their mentoring system, and became a staff director. Doing documentaries and sports, so I traveled the world doing sports. It was just unbelievable education. I worked with people that were just mind-boggling. Edwin Newman, who wrote the book Strictly Speaking, people who were the world's experts at stuff, they're like my coworkers, my friends, and it was just life-changing experience. So I realized, in NBC, I'm kind of aggressive, I think, even though I work at being humble, but I was taught so much at NBC to be aggressive, that you're only as good as your last show. You got to go out and get the goods. And as a documentary director, you're chasing down Margaret Mead at the, Natural History Museum for an interview with people you read about in books when you were a kid,
Right.
So that's kind of, and then a mentor at NBC, and I won't bore you with the long story, but taught me anything you want to do in life, if you can come up with a show for, then you can get paid to go do that thing and do your fulfill your mission in life. And so I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and so I pitched, after I left NBC, I went to CNN, did a show, Keys to Success. That gave me the license to go interview the most successful entrepreneurs in the country and really the world. I've interviewed Trump and Oprah and hundreds of other, Wozniak, just the world's greatest entrepreneurs, and I learned so much from them that then I got hired by this genius who was totally nuts as a publicist, and he taught me the TV infomercial industry. So I went from one side of media to the advertising and sales side. Spent about 20 years going to 1 to 3 media trade shows around the country every month. And I became known as the network king of the direct response industry because I knew everybody in it. Then I lost my health, so that kind of took that whiteboard and just erased it totally clean. And then when I recovered my health, I was reborn in the digital age. And I had a staff of almost 10, and I was not a big fan of human resources and running, dealing with all that stuff. So I thought, can I recreate that agency digitally now? And I've been working in that for probably between maybe 7 years now. And I think I've done it. And then I discovered that e-commerce had hit a tipping point and transitioned from e-commerce to these new platforms of instant collaborations. If you want to ride, you instantly collaborate with the driver on Uber, or you want an accommodation, instantly collaborate with somebody on Airbnb. And for service providers and small businesses, they need to be where people are shopping for them today, so they can collaborate with their clients and customers. And I realized that going all digital is really low odds of success, very low odds, and really hard to get traction. And it's kind of an all or nothing situation, almost. And I realized that the marriage of local in-person, hi, I'm Mike, hi, hey, I got something for you, I'm going to send it to you. Now we've met, that's going to increase Kim's likelihood of opening an email from me dramatically.
Personal interaction.
Yeah,
Mhm,
yeah.
yeah.
So the fusion of the two is the ideal scenario for the new economy. But the challenge we all have, you ask a group, how many know what chambers of commerce are? Like no hands go. That's the opportunity we have, is to become the proponents of, guys, there's this huge opportunity for you. They're in your hometown. They call these local chambers of commerce. Here's what they are. Here's what they do. So that's what I'm all about, I think, in a nutshell.
We have a really strong ambassador committee. So there's 40.
40?
And they're all very active. Probably 90% of them are active and out advocating. So we have a little contest. So you can bring them to sales.
Okay,
Oh, really?
sure. Why
Yeah.
not? Why not? Yeah, I'm
We'll have to get
big
you
on
in that.
competition.
We're going to do an ambassador of the year. So part of it is sales brought in, attendance at events.
Oh, well, I might be interested in participating in that.
Well,
we'll get to that later.
The other thing that I didn't bring up is that I'm in a meetup mastermind group, and we have a membership of 120,000 people from Silicon Valley all through San Francisco and the Bay Area. And we meet every Wednesday at 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. It's a real kind of immersion into it. So that's one thing that we do. And I was going to mention, too, that the reason I think the Young Professionals Group sustained in Lafayette is because they work off Meetup. They post on Meetup.
Yeah.
And I can help. If we find a kind of a younger person that you think would be good, I'd be happy to mentor them on how to start a Meetup group along those lines. And then the other thing is I have a national radio show, and this is broadcast AM, FM, ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox, with about 170 stations and a weekly audience of 5 million. And they're all about entrepreneurs, and our offices are in San Francisco, 300 Broadway. And podcasting is a big part of the new economy, too. And so, anyway, I don't mean to bore you with the overview, but just so you know, that's who I am and where we're...
I think the Young Professionals Group that was actively involved in Walnut Creek, they couldn't get buy-in for the members to join the chamber. So if we're going to run a Young Professionals Group, of course, they're going to need to be chamber members.
I totally agree. But see,
Concord has.
If they couldn't get by it, it's just they don't understand it. I mean,
or they don't have support from their business. They're individual contributors, they're salespeople. They can join on their own.
Right.
I mean, it's a marketing expense for them. Just depends. In theory, the chamber memberships are supposed to be the business supporting the chamber. So if they have 50 employees on North California, we really are basing our quote off of 50 employees.
Sure.
In a general business or professional and financial group or a nonprofit group. With realtors, bankers, financial planners, attorneys, medical professionals, we've made that shift and say, well, if you want to join on your own, we'd rather have you involved than have no support from the 50 that are sitting there. So
good.
Those industries that they kind of run on their own, we'll let them join individually.
See, because I really think the big shift and a big opportunity is everybody who's a freelancer now. I think it was. Do you remember the? I just got this new statistic. I think it was 53 million freelancers, and Forbes says that's going to double by 2020.
A lot of people work from home.
Yeah,
They're not in a traditional office.
That's who we want to convince to join the chamber. Those are the solopreneurs. I'm really an activist. I mean, I was out on, a rally for independent health care, and I was on KTVU because I want to advocate for entrepreneurs and solopreneurs for health care and all kinds of issues that are important, for them. But I think that really broadens the market and the evangelists for the chamber, because a lot of them will interact even as freelancers with larger companies.
Right.
And so I think we can create a whole network of evangelists. That's kind of what I visualize happening.
Yeah. What have you been doing through the Lafayette Chamber so far?
Interviewing Jay Lifson
Mhm.
and organizing what are the keys in addition to the chamber, because I when I say fusion, I mean you do need digital tools and connections and need to know how to understand those and use them. That's the side I've been working on. So I've got that, and you have to go, in my opinion, to simplicity, not complexity. You go to complexity online, you're doomed because it's no end. But you go to what are the best practices towards simplicity? And I've been working on that, and then the marriage with the chamber, and for that, I helped the chamber with one initiative about the American Disabilities Act, and we did kind of an online interview webinar about that. And then I've interviewed Jay about all of the benefits or the strategies of chamber membership, and there's so many that you have to break it down. So it's been a lot of editing to break down this interview I did into this is a strategy, this is a strategy, this is a strategy, this is a strategy. So it's not one thing. It's like if you break every one of these strategies is worth the cost of chamber membership. And we talked about mission. That until we can all go live at Amazon, which we can't, we have to worry about making wise buying decisions to take care of our cops, our kids, our potholes, and how much money can we keep in our community, and that's part of sustainability. I think that Kim is. So Jay, that's been an initiative of Jay's too. So basically, I interview chamber members to help them articulate the benefits of chamber membership.
All right, good.
Oh, and one more thing. I am so ready to be the guy that debates anybody, anywhere, anytime about the future of wealth and work. Is it employment? Let's debate it. Is it self-employment? Let's debate it. But that's a great way to create more public. Let people decide through. You can't make an educated decision until you get an education. So let's debate it. Let's educate them, and let's really. The vision and the scalability is start here, help the entire United States of America. One chamber at a time. We create the right model at Lafayette Chamber. This chamber, it's so scalable. To teach people, hey, there's other ways than waiting for coal to come back. For your employment, right? So I think there's a lot of stupid decisions being made. I don't want to get into that. But I think that, the entrepreneurial spirit that built America, and I grew up in, Detroit around, Ford and seeing, what entrepreneurial spirit can do that I know it can really help the entire country.
Yeah. Well, and once members join on, the goal for the ambassadors is to make sure they're invited to events and make sure that they are actively involved, because we find that the ones that join on a year later, they don't renew because they haven't done anything with it.
And I think that's where we can really, really help.
Yeah, the retention is huge. There's only 8 of us on staff, so my goal is really sell memberships, work with our ambassadors, work with the 2 networking groups, plan all of our BASH, our business and social hour events, plan the ribbon cuttings, and then I have an outside women's group that I'm part of. But the retention, to be making calls when people are past due is sometimes a good use of my time, but not always the best use. Our accountant
You
really
have to decide what the
our accountant
priorities are
steps
to
into
keep.
that too. And our board of directors has over the past divvied up members that have past due or requested to drop. They may know them, they may have some affiliation with being able to talk to them and find out, what are the points that are in the way that are not allowing them to renew, or
Do you know in general,
sometimes
like, what are the
managers
main,
change.
if you had to prioritize, what are the main reasons people come and go?
Yeah, I think they join on either when they're a new business, especially restaurants will join.
Oh,
They want help, and then, they don't see any value in it because they're not attending, they're not doing anything with it.
right, they want to just join and have,
We talk
Business-
about all the ways
business
too at our new member
traffic.
meetings, use the website, use the portal, use the calendar, use the job postings, use the press releases, use the promotion member to member coupon. Try it. See
Yeah.
what traction you get out of it. Some people are really successful, use the office here to leave flyers and, invites. But yeah, I think actively being involved in just the monthly networking events is helpful. You're going to meet somebody at those events
Sure.
if you make that personal connection like you were talking about.
Yeah, and the other thing is that I think rather than putting the chamber in the position of bill collector, I would much rather be in the position of, oh man, I gotta keep up my chamber membership. There's so many benefits, just benefit driven. Just
Yeah.
concentrating, how important it is because. What I've seen, I've done a whole documentary on this, 5 years of research. Forbes, Fortune, Wall Street Journal, even the Federal Reserve Bank is saying we have to adjust the Fed in order to fit this new economy. And folks, today, if you don't transition to the new economy, you face certain setbacks or even obsolescence. Just go ask Toys R Us. I don't care how big you are. I don't care how long you've been around. This is not a choice. This is the way people are shopping today. And so you've got to transform. And so through the research, and this isn't just Mike talking, this is 5 years of research. This is the truth, and we have to let them know it. They've got to transition, and by transitioning, they help themselves, they help the chamber, they help the city, they help everybody. I mean, this is a mission, and that's how I wanted to see it. It's like, oh God, the last thing I would ever do is drop my Chamber of Commerce membership, because we can help them. And all they have to do, we're having mastermind groups, so it's not like I've got all the answers, I'm the super genius. I know how to run mastermind groups and intake and then provide solutions. So they say, well, I'm having a problem with this. Well, okay, let's look at that. Because have you considered this digital solution to go and help expand the benefits of the local chamber?
We have the benefit too, just on a revenue basis, of the Convention Visitors Bureau is.
I saw that part of it. I didn't know if that was integrated or
Yeah.
separate or part of this.
So Scott Slocum is our director for the Convention Visitors Bureau, and he's been on staff for 3 years. And they created the combination of the Chamber and the Convention Visitors Bureau through a T-bid tax that the hotels agreed to pay to. The hotels agreed to charge. So every guest that's staying pays a small percentage of tax that goes to the revenues of the Convention Visitors Bureau.
See, this is the kind of stuff we have to tell people, that look at, you're getting all of this benefit of taxes and everything else that supports the chamber, who does the legwork to get people together.
Yeah.
And, it makes
His role is
perfect sense.
Sure.
bringing Walnut Creek to a destination. That's his jewel of the East Bay. That's his kind of tagline.
A hub city.
And more conventions from across the United States are choosing to get out of San Francisco. San Francisco's got some issues going on.
Sure.
Businesses don't want to go. They don't want to bring their staff there. They don't think it's safe. The homelessness is a big problem. The cost, the traffic. There's not any urban, they can't go and do team building events really. I mean, it's this area out here, people are finding more conducive to
That's
that.
why it's.
I don't know if it's true,
Yeah.
but I heard that Walnut Creek has the second, I don't know what the term is, if it's most lucrative shopping, second only to Rodeo Drive or something like that. So, I think that's amazing. Bring your spouse if they're not into it, man or woman, they can go shopping while
Yeah.
you're
Right.
partying in Walnut Creek,
So I think with the big topic right now is the height limit, Measure A. There's issues around how high
Building.
buildings can go. And so it's, the larger corporations will have a harder time finding a corporate office here.
What about pot? Is that,
Marijuana issues?
yeah.
That's a big one that the chamber has had some attorneys come in and speak about what the hiring practices are going to look like. What's your company policy going to be regarding medical marijuana, regarding use of marijuana off work time? There's all kinds of issues. What someone's posting on their social media, what they're doing at home might not align with what the workplace is saying, but what are your rules going to be? He works with the hotels exclusively, so there's 6 hotels. Renaissance Club Sport, Embassy Suites. I'm talking about the 6 hotels that are part of the, so it's
This is
Renaissance
quite
Club
a story. I love
Sport,
this story.
Embassy Suites, the Holiday Inn Express, the Motel 8, and then Marriott, Walnut Creek Marriott, and then the Diablo Inn.
Now, another thing is that meetups do, as you mentioned, require a place to meet.
Yeah.
And WeWork, who's a $20 billion corporation, sponsored our ribbon cutting at the Oakland City Center. And they are, not that it's Walnut Creek, but Walnut Creek does have a couple of shared workspaces. One, Kim and I are meeting with the really cool one of Capital One, which is free.
Oh yeah, Capital One's a great member.
And it's free. They've got this really cool
Yeah.
cafe for entrepreneurs.
They rent those back rooms. They let nonprofits reserve them for free as long as they organize it in advance.
Yeah. So we're talking to Akil about that on Monday. But then there's another one called Victory.
Yep, he's a member.
Okay, good.
He started the Reliable Receptionist
Yeah,
and the Laptop Lounge.
right.
And now they've kind of merged into this one location. And then he closed his Danville.
Oh, you did?
There's another one I just connected with, Regis.
Didn't know.
They're
Where are
in
they?
Concord and Walnut Creek. I can get their address for you.
I'm just curious.
And then Third Workplace closed, but they were over on Treat in the Avalon apartment.
Huh.
Retail space at the bottom.
And then there's a company called Peer Space, P-E-E-R, and they're like Airbnb of little places to have meetings.
Mm-hmm.
So,
There was a guy at the new member meeting. Was he sitting next to you? And he said he was interested in starting, him and his wife. They're kind of in a retirement situation. Well, he's retired from his job and
Yeah.
is looking to start another temporary work office space.
so what I wanted to do today, and the reason I came, is I wanted to make sure that you guys fully understand that we are, advocates, supporters, and anything that we can do. Because I know people sometimes get a little dicey about being interviewed, like, what's this for? And they get all kind of freaked out over it a little bit. Oh, it's on the record. Oh, no. But I never do an interview with anybody unless I think it'll do them some good. That's kind of my rule. And so what I'd love to do is I'd love to debate anybody, have panel. I can bring great panelists together for a panel. The Contra Costa counties had me on panels before. And I want to be a resource in any way that I can, used and abused. But that's just kind of who I am. You know what I mean?
What's the, how are you listed as, you're a member of Lafayette?
Yeah.
Under this new economy?
Uh-huh.
Okay. And
Because-
you've been there for a long time?
I've been a member on and off. I wasn't when I lost my health, but I've been back for probably about maybe a year and a half. But I've known Jay for a long time.
Jay and Jay know each other.
Yeah.
What you may want to approach Jay with Lafayette, and then we could, and I don't know what you're thinking, but the 5 Cs, so the 5 chambers that, kind of the core of the chambers that plan those mega mixers.
Yeah.
I think it's Concord, Pleasant Hill, Lafayette, Walnut Creek, and
Hispanic.
Hispanic. And then like Moraga has come in, Danville, or not Danville, yeah, Danville, San Ramon, Benicia. Some of the others have joined in. I think we had 7 there the other
Yeah.
day. But they used to meet more often to kind of get the chambers together, and so I don't know if that would be an opportunity for you to approach them about.
That would be, but also my vision, because of the mastermind group I'm in,
Mm-hmm.
there's so many digital tools to do what I would call cross-chamber networking beyond the mega chamber.
Right.
To do that digitally on a more ongoing basis with Zoom, which is an amazing technology for online meetings,
Okay.
and having a lot more evangelical or evangelists for the chamber.
Yeah.
Who are the real ambassadors? Let's get them together.
Yeah.
And because in mastermind groups, with everything I know about digital and everything, other people know, and what the chamber, there's no problem we can't solve. I truly believe that. With swapping information, just in masterminds, it's what I love about it. 2 things I love about it. It's peer-to-peer. So like everybody's opinion is good, and if 10 people think you ought to do that, maybe ask them first. And if 9 of them say you shouldn't, and 10 say you should, well, you got a better way to make a decision on it. But it was started by Napoleon Hill, of all people, in 1925, started mastermind groups, the author of Think and Grow Rich. So this is a rich tradition, mastermind groups and peer-to-peer. And I think in this economy where it's so much confusion, I think peer-to-peer mentoring is just absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Walnut Creek has an issue with, it's not really an issue, but the Walnut Creek Downtown Association is a group that the businesses in this general area are required to pay into. So it's a cost of doing business. Mm-hmm. So there's confusion around, well, I am part of the chamber. I'm like, no, you've paid your fee to be in business in the CBD, in this area. They don't understand the difference.
Well, again, what I've seen in the infomercial industry, and even the best way to educate kids is show them how they're going to apply this stuff. That's when they get excited about learning and about it. When they see the win, that's what we need. And what we can do digitally and relentlessly is to show them, what do you do after the meeting? There's so many easy ways to continue to reach out and network. and like part of the new economy, Kim and I went to the Mega Mixer. I said to Kim, give me all the business cards. We don't throw them in the wastebasket. We take a picture of them. We send them off to Fiverr.com, and for $5 a type up 100 cards and send me a CVS, which I got. Kim has. Nice. That's instant outreach. People don't quite realize these are resources in the new economy we can use and need to start using.
I reach out to all the cards.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, you're a rare one.
Well, they're leads, but
yeah.
But not everybody maybe as organized as you.
Right, right.
I provide them to our host.
You did a poll
as well.
How many people have cards? I'm not getting to them. It's because I need to type it.
I make it a goal to. The members I don't always reach out to. The ambassadors I keep track of who's there, and then the guests that I've invited I reach out to, obviously, and then anyone that's a non-member I reach out to.
Let me ask you this about your membership. Who is your membership online? The data. Who's that available to?
So we use Chamber Master, and a lot of the chambers use the same database program. It links through to our website, so our business directory is available. So all of our active members are available.
To the public. Cool. And
not as much information, so a benefit of membership is when you're logged into your member information portal, you can maybe see, the CEO and his direct phone number. I mean, they choose what they want visible on the website, and they choose what they want visible on the Member Information Center. So some people don't want their physical address if they work from home. Some people don't want their cell phones listed. Some people want a general email and not everyone's individual emails. But when you're logged in as a member, a lot of that is available to you. And then you can internally network as a member, and you can refer people. There's a referral button. Referral tab.
Oh, really? So
refer people.
I hadn't heard of that. Well, what's the name of this database again?
Chamber Master.
Chamber Master, thanks.
And then we have a mobile app that members can put on their phone so that they can see who the members are, see the calendar,
when they're out, and
see the events, and post.
How long have you had them on that?
Since Chamber Master, we switched in. So I started here in December of 2015. And that following August 2016, we switched from Chamber, what was it called? I can't remember what it was called. Chamber Nation? Chamber something, to this Chamber Master program. And I think Pleasant Hill, pretty sure Lafayette, Pleasant
I'm not sure. They just switched,
San
so
Ramon.
I'm not sure.
We're all on this same. It allows you to, I'm going to get the technology words all wrong, but it allows you to interface with Microsoft Office. So you can be in your Chamber Master and pull into, an email that tracks in the communication log, or you can switch over to Word or Outlook so that you can email outside of the database and inside.
That
for a
referral button
mastermind
is
conversation,
really,
you think?
that referral button, man, that's cool. Is that new? And what does that do exactly?
Well, a member could go in and just refer
somebody
to us,
in.
but we can do referrals and it tracks. So at the end of the year, we could say we've given you 10 referrals.
Okay. Oh,
awesome.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
So I don't know if Mike has used the word best practices, but the mastermind groups or masterminds in general, to share best practices, what's working and what people are, what kind of state of the art.
Yeah, when people say they're not getting anything out of their membership, we can say, well, you've attended 0 events, because you can track them. If they register, whether they show up to it or not, because we don't physically check people in, but they've attempted or at least showed interest and registered for an event, if they've paid and like done a trade fair booth, we have our flyers out now for our business trade fair that's coming up.
Yeah, okay.
If they've paid for that or attended the women's conference, there's history of that, so we can see how active they are.
Can I jump in with a quick idea that's just occurring to me? That the nice thing about doing a mega digital chamber is it's recorded. It provides self-paced learning, so people who don't attend, even if they're not available for the live, it's a record. They can do self-paced learning. Plus, over time, all of these self-paced learning recordings become an archive, and all of a sudden, new chambers get the whole archive. You see what I'm saying? So it becomes residual benefit.
They send us a lot of webinars that we can attend as chamber.
Who's they?
Oh.
So Chamber Master,
Chamber
yeah,
Master.
they link with, there's some internal webinar program where they have, how do you retain members, or what's the best practice for, there's all different webinars you
Right.
can watch.
Do you know where they're based?
I can look in the system and,
Okay, or I can.
And do you let your ambassadors attend those webinars?
I have not ever done that. Yeah. Our I think probably Walnut Creek is probably the largest, except for Pleasanton, outside of Oakland and San Francisco.
Mhm.
Walnut Creek probably we have about 600 members right now. Pleasanton, I think, has about maybe 800.
Well, the Lafayette Chamber,
Really?
I think 640 maybe, but I don't know.
By the way, just
For a
to
small city,
That surprises
Just to-
me.
that's pretty cool.
raise your comfort level or whatever, I'd like to become a member today.
Yeah, that's good.
Just to let you know, this is just
Wait.
idle chatter, like, well, Kim Ryle comes in once in a while and.
I don't, I'm not a very high-pressured salesperson, but
I
it
know,
works
I
for
know,
me.
and that's why I'm,
Well,
letting
and
you know
the
that
other
this-
part of the history of Walnut Creek is that, and Jay's been here 28 years, Marcy's been here 38 years.
Wow. If we were a chamber affiliate, and if Capital One gives rooms to nonprofits, and if we did a speed network and talk them into every day at 1 o'clock, we do a speed networking thing. Anybody who's interested in speed networking, come into the thing.
Yeah.
Everybody gets 30 seconds, bam. Why just sit there? The greatest venture capitalist in the world could be 3 seats down. You don't know it, right?
Yeah.
Right,
So you
right.
got to do speed networking, and bam. I mean, so we'll
The other,
we'll bring that up with Akil on Monday.
the ambassadors do an ambassador rally every year, and I think Pleasant Hill is hosting it this next year.
Okay, we got to write that down.
So it's a good meeting of the minds of all different chambers across Northern California, and it's fun. They just all get together and
Yeah,
And we would find out
share
about
for the whole
that.
day. It's like a 2-day. It's a weekend. No, a Friday, Saturday is what they did. We were in
Ambassador
Lodi.
Rally.
Lodi?
We were out in Lodi, so they did some winery
The winery,
stuff, and
okay.
they had a venue booked. Some people came in and stayed overnight. I just drove home.
Oh.
I shared I wasn't able to go on the Friday, or it was a Thursday and a Friday. We had our bash event on Thursday, so I stayed here, and one of our ambassadors went for 2 days, and then I met her on the second day. But some of these small, close-knit communities that are, like Davis was one, Santa Rosa was another, and Clovis, those towns are all about referrals. I mean, like, you go into town and you better not burn any bridges, because they're just little, close-knit communities where the ambassadors rally around everything. The chamber is
With social
super
media,
connected.
you better not burn any bridges.
yeah.
Just in
Whereas
general.
Yeah,
Walnut
yeah.
Creek is so spread out. I mean, the Shadelands which is another topic for the chamber, in that there's a steering committee and a PBID tax for the owners of the buildings out there that fund all kinds of things in the Shadelands. The bikes, the line bikes that are out there. Have
Yeah.
you seen those rolling
Yeah,
around?
sure have.
Mm-hmm.
They've done wayfinding signage, they've done studies on building better sidewalks and travel areas, the Orchards complexes out there. So Jay's involved with this PBID steering committee for the
That's where he is
Shadelands
right now.
owners, yeah.
Because my mantra is, based on this research, is that already the new economy has changed everything. Everything. And what is the new economy? Because the media call it the gig economy, the platform. They call it all these different names. So we just use the umbrella of the new economy to cover all the little parts of it. And it's changed LinkedIn. The way it's changed LinkedIn, and this is since you guys have a Facebook page, LinkedIn is much more of a media company that we're all now, as independents, we're all resources. And so if you look at yourself as a resource, you start to brand yourself as a resource, then what LinkedIn wants you to do is to create personal branding about you as a resource and post that content on your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah.
Not just groups, on your actual profile for the first time. And the public for the first time ever can watch videos on LinkedIn without even a LinkedIn account. So that's,
interesting.
yeah, so that's the way that the new economy is changing everything. So my mantra is, guys, whatever you thought you knew about business, about chambers, about networking, about Facebook, about LinkedIn, about Meetup, it's all changed.
Yeah. I
And-
use, have you heard of Alignable?
Oh, yeah. In fact, they just called me.
I use Alignable. I've had a lot of leads come through Alignable. And
Okay,
I
you got to
post-
know this. This is huge for
I
you.
post our new member meetings and our bash events and any other outreach events on there.
End of this month,
Often.
they're doing a big shift, okay? And they contacted me and they said, we want to do a lot more Chamber of Commerce. We got a whole new initiative. We're announcing it end of August for Chambers of Commerce. That's why we know you, because I've been a participant for some time. And so they want me and Sunil Bhaskaran to really be part of that and part of the ambassadorship to Chambers. They have about he didn't even know, he said, well, probably between 500 and 800 chambers signed up already on Alignable. But this new initiative, so they want to really create a new machine around Alignable for chamber events. So I will keep you up
Yeah.
to speed.
I post ours currently.
Yeah, on the promotion part of it, and they're going to take that up, I think, a notch and put the company behind it and really start to
Yeah.
target and create some success stories and testimonials around it. So it's a good time to be aware of that.
So,
All good stuff.
was there something directly that you were going to propose today, or you just that you want to be connected with events?
No,
that-
yeah, not really.
I think
Just
it's more exploratory, and,
Yeah,
and the fact that I wanted to be a member, or I'm going to be a member
Yeah.
before I walk out here, with your help. And one of the ideas that I mentioned yesterday that I'm piggybacking on from Mike is that for businesses that I offer social media service to, maybe something else, but mostly the social media. I want to, again, this is Mike's idea, I want to offer a $200 chamber coupon.
Yeah,
So once I, earn some money from somebody that's not a member,
right.
I mean, we'll try to work within membership, but one of our goals, mutual goals, is to grow the chamber.
Yeah.
Because we both understand the value, and Mike has a vision that's, kind of US centric on just how to grow chambers and make them more valuable, or enhance the value that's already there.
amplify.
And yeah, and so to do that, to walk the talk, I'm gonna offer, and I think this is what Mike's planning to do too, offer something like a $200 coupon, and just really make it easy for people to, like, why, with $200 to go to whatever chamber it is,
Right.
especially if you're a, entrepreneur or solopreneur, that's half the chamber membership,
Yeah.
or maybe some more.
For a small business, for sure.
Yeah, and so that's one of the things that I would like to bring, as a value. And then I think we're touching on some things that seem interesting and useful for the chamber. I would like to maybe talk with you and Mike about some kind of presentation that, as a new member, to kind of make my introduction to people.
Yeah.
Maybe have a.
Well, I'm a huge believer in two things. One is interviews, and the other one is Mastermind group and peer-to-peer networking. The main thing I wanted to do with you, Linda, is because my card says the New Economy Chamber of Commerce, is to really clarify that I'm totally an advocate. Anything I can do to help, that's the main thing. That, feedback, I'll take it in, I'll listen, I'll sleep on it, I'll come up with solutions. But I've been a thought leader in two different industries. One, I was a thought leader in the direct response industry, according to DRTV News, and then I was also a thought leader in crowdfunding, according to CrowdFundBeat. And so I feel like I am on the launch pad of this whole new renaissance of small business and the marriage of chambers and digital, and that we can really, literally change the world. And, starting... And how many great ideas come out of California and Northern California?
Yeah.
A few.
Yeah.
So I mean, we can really You know, and what I want to do with the media, because I can do huge national publicity and want to as soon as everything's ready. And what I really want to do is put myself out there for debate with anybody. I'd love to debate anybody. What's the future? Is it old employment and working for companies,
Yeah.
or is it, you know?
Have you used Facebook Live?
I use YouTube Live
Okay.
and Zoom.
So we started to use some Facebook Live.
You know what's cool about, if I may, the cool thing about the marriage of Zoom and YouTube Live is that Google owns YouTube. So therefore, you get Google Juice, and it's much more optimizable. And you know, it's the 500-pound gorilla. And frankly, I'm a visionary. In my opinion, I'm not even sure that Facebook is even going to exist in 5 years.
Yeah.
And I mean that sincerely. I don't know how we can maintain our democracy
Yeah.
and defend against Russia the way, because there's a thing called the Communications Decency Act, which was to protect local pornography, frankly. That's why it's called that. But what it was, that's the law that enabled people to post anything online without the company being responsible for it. That's not that old. I don't think it's sustainable. But that is what makes Facebook run.
Yeah.
How's everything going since the fire?
I know they had to relocate, clearly. Their
Yeah,
office burned down.
yeah. Jay is an amazing human being, and I love the guy. He's a real, phoenix story. From out of the ashes to success. They immediately put on the Lafayette Chamber Art and Wine Festival.
I know.
Not long after the fire, pulled that off so brilliantly. New, smaller office, but he has embraced everything I'm about. He's so visionary and on top of this stuff. I mean, not having worked with the Walnut Creek Chamber yet, to me, the Lafayette Chamber is ground zero of the new economy. He's so brilliant.
Well, I know that he and RJ know each other rather well.
Yeah.
But I've met him like once or twice before.
We haven't
Yeah.
raised our rates in a long time.
Yeah, you were saying, like,
some chamber,
2011 or
2010.
2010, wow.
I mean,
Well, it
cost
creates
of-
This is
urgency and
predictable.
we haven't done any
join
of that.
before we go up and da-da-da, so it
Yeah.
gives some urgency.
Or grandfather
yeah.
people in, and then
Right,
people would
right,
pay a
right.
different rate. But I mean,
Right.
we've had the same rates for a very long time. And then the other part that I have not done a lot with is we have a section for retired, no longer in business. But we have about 6 people that are in that category. But I think there's a lot of people who would probably support the chamber and come to events that are maybe no longer in business, but just want to be connected and support.
That's a great idea.
Loneliness. That's why digital and Mastermind, loneliness is becoming, I'm a big advocate of anti-loneliness,
Just
having
being
been
connected
ill
to
and,
something, yeah.
where I was stuck in a chair for a long time. But that's
If you don't mind,
huge.
I'm gonna go update the.
Or
the-
go
our
sign
meter-
up
our
or
meters.
something,
No,
or
I'm
something.
gonna update our meters.
Okay.
I should have told you to park in the little 30-minute
Well,
slots
it's
here.
okay, but as long as we maybe take another 15
Yeah,
minutes or so, I just
yeah.
don't want us to get
Sure,
caught.
sure. Thanks.
But that's a whole nother section that I really need to look at. Because our leadership program, we had a gentleman that just reached out to us. He's retired from some position in San Francisco. He's now on his homeowners association board, and he wants to go through our leadership program, and he's connected with some people who are running for city council. And we quoted him no longer in business, it's $135 for the year. They could come to 11 different networking events, and they may not want to, but some of them are at some nice venues, so.
Well, the cool thing about chamber people, they're often, A-type personalities. They take care of themselves. They care about how they look, their appearance. They like to learn stuff. They care about their community. I mean, they are just an ideal target.
Yeah.
And if you look at that, the new economy, I believe, is bringing things back to a village mentality of independence who help take care of each other. So if somebody is I help at a jobs ministry in Danville. I see all these C-level, executives who've been laid off, and they take it so personally, and they're so hurt, and they're facing this roller coaster of the future. They don't know where to go, and they're really struggling. So I think that there's so many opportunities here to help people.
How did the millennials fall into the new economy?
Uh,
Because they'll job hop. They're they're not loyal to anyone unless it's benefiting themselves.
Believe me, I got 3 of them.
In a good way.
I have 3 of them. That's why I think what the Chamber's done with the young professionals is brilliant.
Yeah.
I think, like Thomas Jefferson said, every generation deserves its own government.
Mm-hmm.
And they are demanding to be governed and operate differently than we are.
Mm-hmm.
Jay said that too. He said, because I was all about, hey, this is all about bringing everybody together, men, empowered women, and how men can learn from empowered women, from their market, and older, younger. And this is the one thing we can all agree on. We all care about our incomes. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's make this the great come together. And Jay was saying, maybe, but these guys are pretty committed, and they're we look at them like in a silo. But, I think there's some interaction, and I think if we can motivate them that we get them, that we're not all the same, I think we might all be better off to say, we're us, you're you,
Yeah.
but we're like oak trees and you guys are like green saplings. We got all these branches and...
Well, we have SCORE counselors that meet with people here, and they're
I'm
huge.
concerned about SCORE counselors, honestly, because, there is an old economy, an incumbent economy, and a new economy. So it really is not if you're SCORE or not, it's your mindset. I believe in the best of the past, something new, and then something experimental.
Yeah.
Something that hasn't been tried.
Our guy advocates for us heavily.
About digital?
Larry Tesler. The SCORE counselor that meets with people here absolutely suggests Chamber to
Yeah,
his
but
clients.
does he express digital too?
I don't know.
See, that's it's got to be a
He was
fusion.
more on a retail. His history was in retail.
It's got to be a fusion. It's not the
I
Chamber
don't think you
alone.
can get away from digital anymore. I mean,
No.
our kids are taught they don't even have to cursive write.
And so,
They type everything.
People said to me, "Are you talking about the e-commerce?" I've been in that forever. I go, "No, e-commerce has reached a tipping point.
Mm-hmm.
It's no longer just e-commerce. It has literally changed the entire economy."
People can run their business right off their phone.
Yeah,
They don't
and
need an
more
office
and
space,
more.
and they don't need a computer.
But they do need other people.
Yeah.
And that's where
Yeah.
the Chamber comes in.
Yeah.
So it's the fusion. That's what I'm about, is the fusion.
Well, and our civic affairs meetings are really interesting because you see what the Chamber is doing for you that no one understands we're doing.
Right. And
We're
we want
involved with anything the city council's gonna vote on. We're involved with, we have the representatives from our district come, they tell us about what's going on in Sacramento. I mean, the Chamber is at work when no one else wants to do it. Jay's got stories that he talks about at
And
the,
how many people even know that? And that's part of what
Yeah.
Mike can bring
Yeah.
with my help. I'm
Right.
gonna kind of
yeah.
We're
tag
working
team
together, really.
and-
Yeah.
But becoming a
Yeah.
new member, in fact, one of the things that I'm just off the top, since you're here too, that I'd like to do to, again, introduce
Right,
myself,
right.
would be to offer, with your help and guidance, some kind of a meeting or presentation and interactive format, and offer as an incentive, maybe Mike does this thing, this LinkedIn interview, and maybe I can twist his arm to offer.
Like a digital business card.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so maybe I can offer a couple complimentary ones or a drawing. If people show up,
Yeah.
then a couple people would get, members would get,
We do donations to our member drawings at all of our networking events.
Are they write-offs?
We could probably, if they need something for that.
I think.
and would it be okay to bring some non-members in for this? I don't even know how I would characterize it, but for the purpose of creating new members.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be what I would do is,
This
And-
room is available for presentations too. We rent the room for $50 for 2 hours.
Heck of a-
The other thing we do that's really fun is we do multimedia. So we actually, at our ribbon cutting in Oakland, we had it at WeWork, a physical meeting, but through Zoom, we had experts from around the world, from Paris, throughout the country, at our live meetup in the Zoom meeting.
Oh, nice.
And then we did peer-to-peer networking. Well, what did you think of that? What did you think of
Yeah.
this? And da-da-da. So I just love peer-to-peer. That's to me what makes it, keeps things honest and straightforward, is getting input from your
Incredible.
peers and help you to avoid mistakes, basically.
I don't know why I'm thinking of this now. We have a member called Rebelio. You heard of them?
no,
It's like a digital business card, so you hover your phone over it and a video pops up.
I think I did see
Oh,
that
really?
somewhere. I think I did see that.
They're in our directory review.
That you have to have the app,
You
right?
have to
That
have
you
the
do have
app.
to have the app.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of the challenge a little bit.
Mhm.
Until it's got to be like Moore's law. It's got
So-
to be broad.
What's the status then? You're looking to work with your social marketing.
Yeah, I
group.
just wanted, that was just as a reminder.
This is a second,
That's my second business, and
Yeah.
there is some overlap.
yeah,
Part of what Mike and I are collaborating on is what's helpful and useful and relevant for entrepreneurs, independent, some small businesses, et cetera, for their business, for growing their business, and what helps them differentiate themselves. And one of the title of my audiobook that I'm going to be working on with Mike is Business as a Force. The working title I'm going to use is Business as a Force for Good is the New Economy. And what I mean by that is that, especially with online businesses and also local people, could be a realtor, could be anybody, why would you choose? Why does one choose to do business with anyone when they're like a commodity? You could choose umpteen realtors or
Right.
plumbers or whatever, and I think, well, it's not just my opinion, but many people are differentiating themselves, trying to stand out by building their brand on what they do in the community,
Yeah.
what their value is essentially outside of work. I mean,
Exactly.
yeah, they're a great realtor or plumber or solar contractor, which is well and good, but it's like, what else are they doing? Are they
Right.
involved in the schools or some social justice work or community gardens, or maybe they're a musician, right? Maybe they're at the farmer's market or whatever. So it's that that is differentiating not only corporations but also down to mid-size and small business and individuals. And
Makes them stand out.
that's what the research and current trends are, and there are umpteen case studies why people will choose to do business with someone who they feel is just adding more value
Yeah.
in the community. And hopefully by getting that information out there with Mike's help to more people, it's like, well, yeah, that I would enjoy doing more in the community, and it would help my business too. So
Yeah.
here's what other people are doing. Here's how you can
I'm
do it for
working on a
yourself.
membership.
So that's what the sustainability part is.
Yeah.
It's part of sustainability in general in these days by just doing more business as a force
Yeah.
for good.
You could definitely marry the two.
Yeah, so that's kind of how that.
What were you
to
gonna
me,
say?
it's other
You-
I'm
people.
working on a membership right now with One Planet Ops. They moved into Walnut Creek from San Ramon, and they're on Bonanza, right across from Scott's and James Fidelibus Photography. And they're an online, I guess, portal for quotes for car insurance, home repairs, real estate.
Oh, like almost anything.
hmm
Wow, that's totally a
But
new economy platform.
One of their
That's awesome.
one of their platforms, or kind of their issue with their employees, is that they give them time off on an ongoing basis to volunteer in the community.
One Planet,
One Planet
One Planet
Ops.
Ops.
Yes.
OnePlanetOps.com.
I've got their cards. Before you leave, I'll give you their
Okay,
contact.
okay.
Thank you for that. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, thanks.
The other
They
thing
have
I-
a really cool office space that's large enough to host an event, so I'm hoping that they'll host one of our events next year, in 2019. But their founder, his name is Payman.
Payment?
You could look it up too.
Uh-huh.
He's connected to some larger, I don't know if it's more of a religious following, but it's like the Bahia group.
Baha'i?
Baha'i?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Baha'i.
Really? Okay.
But he has some programs and nonprofits that he works with.
I'm interested in him already.
Yeah.
Kim handing you 2 or 3 cards. This is part of the new economy, a portfolio of
Yeah,
incomes.
yeah.
So you have multiple streams of
Mhm.
income that create your river of income. So that's kind of
But
going to
they,
be
you know,
typical.
they were really interested in the fact we have 95 nonprofit groups because, they'd like to partner with people who are also involved in the chamber.
I had no idea. I haven't spent enough time on your website yet. on the
And he
membership
is
list.
a member, he is a.
They're in the process of joining, I'm pretty sure. I
Okay.
can let you know as soon as they come on.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, tell me they've already got a referral.
Yeah.
We'd love to
Yeah.
hook up with them. I'll interview
They're
them.
super interesting. And their office spaces, it's kind of that open concept.
Yeah.
They want to invite the Walnut Creek Police Department into their office space at any time during the day to eat and have coffee, and they have a really neat kitchen lounge area within their office space.
Really?
Lots of donuts.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
Yeah. I think they provide food for their employees. You know, it's one of those, keep the
Yeah.
people there and keep
My
What-
son,
one
my
more
son works
thing.
at Google.
Yeah.
Free food is like the new norm
Yeah.
for really competitive companies
Yeah.
to keep the talent.
free
One more
gym.
thing we're working on that this is kind of a new angle too is the new 2018 tax bill has a lot of people have lost deductions that
Yeah.
they had,
Yeah.
and this becoming an entrepreneur. There's a part of it that specifically addresses that and the write-offs that you get off, maybe 10%. And I'm no tax guy, so I'm shooting from, but you get it.
We've had two businesses change their listing, and I don't know, they're changing because of the taxes. They're changing their, I don't know, they're moving away from the LLC.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about it.
Well, that's why,
They're in
and
business
who
for
does?
themselves, and they
But
have to.
that's why we're bringing in experts to give advice on it. And if you're a solopreneur and how to, maybe save as much as $10K a year, well, you can pay a lot of chamber memberships. And if you do nothing, you're going to lose. So that's one thing to
Maybe the
Not knowing
chambers,
is-
maybe the chambers could come together to promote an event too.
Right.
If you were going to speak, and Jay probably in Lafayette does the same, but anyone who wants to present something to chamber members or have a seminar or meeting where, you're selling seats to it, you just have to promote it to Jay and the board.
Okay.
And then they'll present it, make sure that it's relevant, that it's not recently been done, that, they think that it's,
And it's cool to
Valuable.
charge for it.
you don't have to. I mean, we've had people do
But
free
it's
events.
cool to charge.
Yeah, as long as you have an event registration link or something.
Like Eventbrite or something like that. And then what do they charge usually? Something?
I think we've just done free events here, like
$20.
Angela. Yeah, I don't know. Probably have to. We charge $20 guest fees at our networking events in the evening. So
Which is
probably depends
nominal.
if there's food involved.
Yeah,
if it's a
yeah.
reception, if it's a meeting, if it's a seminar.
Does the chamber need a cut of that, or is that done? No,
I don't think so. No.
Part of your membership.
Eventbrite's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm all good. I don't want to keep you unnecessarily. I know you're a busy lady,
You
so
gotta do a membership.
Yeah, you can either. I can have you fill out the old school application, or you can do it online, whichever. I have it here, or we can do it online, or you can enter it. Or,
I'm all paid up on the meter, so. Or at least-
go for
if
it.
you fill out the application, then I'll enter it.
Get her done.
Do it, I'm gonna get her done.